Hello and good evening everybody. Welcome to ERL Tier 3 Abu Dhabi, where it's our season finale tonight with the title decider for the Drivers' Championship still to be decided between Den and Neil. And it's very much is expected to go down to the very last end of this race. I'm Vassa and I'll be your commentator tonight as we are watching the first cars go out for their qualifying laps. Who will get the spectacular pole time, and will anybody be able to challenge Matthias's incredible lap from yesterday evening? We are all to find this out in the next 18 minutes or so. Let's find out. Neil already on an out lap. Ben is waiting out a little bit longer, so let's stick with Neil as he's fighting for the title in this race today. And while he's on his out lap, I'll give you the standings for Tier 3 and how close it is between the two. It's Den leading. He's on 104 points. And Neil is second with 87 points, meaning he's 17 points behind. In ERL, in a race, there is 27 points in total to gain. That's 25 for finishing first, 1 for fastest lap, and 1 for driver of the day. So, if Den scores 10 points or more, it doesn't matter what Neil does, Den will have the championship tonight. Anything less than 10 points, Neil will very much still have the opportunity, but he will need to win. In third, we've got Iron Kid with 73 points, and that battle is close as well for third, with Topcar Flogger in a fourth with 71 points, but I don't believe he's actually racing tonight. So yeah, that's Iron Kid third concealed. As Neil starts his lap, finished the last corner, let's switch to TV pod camera as he goes through turn 1. Keeps a little bit of margin there on the track limits, but very much the first laps to get a feel for the track tonight. Got rid of the chicanes here before the hairpin. Now all to focus on the exit for this long DRS train. Got possibly a little bit of a slipstream for the cars ahead, but they don't look to be hindering his lap further down the line. Through the chicane, looks nice and clean. Still a little bit of margin on the table there. DRS wide open again, as ERL PRS sets the banker. Bundy, new driver I think, don't know him yet, improves, and now Iron Kid improves down to 23.8 as Neil now goes through the stadium section. I say stadium section, I mean the hotel section. Obviously this is the part where Latifi crashed in that very eventful year. Through the last corner, Neil goes, and will he fight for pole? He does with a 23.0. And IFRL Alpha, new driver as well, very close to that time as well, only a tenth off, and that's a tenth exactly. Stewart puts it in third, Cavolis in fourth, Iron Kid in fifth, Bundy now down to sixth, Perez in seventh, and somebody else came up, and that is Storm, puts it in P4. Now who else is on a lap at the moment? Limited Danny. Let's see what he does. 2 drivers retired. I believe both of them are quali bands that they are serving for this last race. Couple of yellows going on. That's just drivers giving way to other drivers, I assume. Limited Danny is being a little bit hindered there by the Aston Martin and invalidates his lap time as well. Not sure who the Aston Martin was there. Who was the other Aston Martin? It didn't look like it was Perez, so yeah, I think that was Lange. Apeldoorn on a lap now through this chicane onto the second DRS straight of this lap. Obviously getting the purple first or the middle sector, but that's because he hasn't set a lap yet. And the game will just say every sector was your or the session's fastest sector. That will become more valid from everybody's second lap onwards. Then, in the meantime, saving a set of tires by not going out on his first run. Might be a strategical advantage later on in the race, but let's see what Apeldoorn does. Puts it in P6 with a 23.7. I expect he can go faster now. He's normally a pretty good driver, expecting him in the front normally in Tier 3. What have we got? Iron Kids, he's on a lap, and has he just aborted that one? I think he has. Apeldoorn just done the one, so it's Bundy that's on an out lap. Limited Danny, has he just improved? Zonneveld, he's just done a lap as well, I think. And Denden is now on an out lap as well. So we'll go with Bundy first. I think he's the first one to start a lap now. And then we switch over to Neil, or Denden actually. Once he starts his lap, see what he can do. Very tricky corners here all throughout the lap, as some are very much cambered in and some are off camber, making you go wide, run over the curbs and invalidate your lap. So this is Bundy starting his lap, going through the first corner. Leaves quite a bit of margin there on the exit. There's definitely some time to be gained there. Nice and stable through this section here. And into the hairpin we go. Down to second gear, might struggle a little bit for traction there on the exit. Seems to be nice and okay on the pull away. DRS wide open. Sort of a distant tow there from an Alfa Romeo. And I believe Denden is now on his lap. He is, and that looked very committed through the second and third corner there. Nice exit, opens his DRS as well. I'm not quite good with the sector times just yet, so I don't quite know what good sector times are over here. He is just about to finish the second sector. And that's a 53.1 through the second sector. That might be important later on for the last runs. And now into the very sharp cornery sector around the hotel here under the bridge. A little bit wide, but uses all the track without going over the track limits. Opens up the corner on the N3, keeps it nice and stable on the exit, and actually gets pole by 2/10 from Neil with it 122.8. And that is a very good lap from Denden. Now Bundy, we were following him before. He improved to third place with a 123.0. We just have Storm taking second place away from Neil with a 122.9. For Alpha, he's improving 4 tenths in the second sector, and now this purple second sector is actually correct. So he's on for a very good lap here. 4 tenths of his time will give him provisional pole. Let's see if he can keep it together through this tricky sector. Goes very wide, but keeps it valid. I think he loses a bit of time there as he's struggling for traction here in the last pass of the lap. But what is his time as he goes over the finish line? And he's missing out on pole with less than a tenth away from Denden, but that was a very good lap. Definitely more in his lap, I'd say, with how his last sector went. So maybe on the last run of this qualifying he can fight for that pole position. Vigo then 52.2, that was I think through sector 2. Very committed into the hotel section here. Very close to the track limits as well. And again there, keeps it together. No real signs of traction loss there on the exit. And what does he do? And he takes pole away. He improves it with another 10 more or less, and takes it from Denden for now. Very nice lap. Slowly but surely the lap times are tumbling down. Perez improved himself up into 7, and I'm pretty sure he's pushing now as well. Let's see what he can do. Oh, and he goes wide and invalidates. That is a shame. Sorry for the commentator's curse there. Stewart seems to be improving now. Let's see what he's doing with his Ferrari. His yellow helmet, couldn't quite see if it was one of the official Ferrari helmets, but it matches the car quite well. Through the chicane and onto the second DRS straight. This part in the race, I'm very much looking forward to all the action we're going to see here. Through the hairpin he goes. This is one of those off-camber exits where you can easily mess up your lap or your race. As is this part through the hotel. I always struggle with that part for one reason or another. Looking very sharp through this sector here, and let's see what time he puts on the board. And he takes pole away for now. Provisional pole for Stewart in the Ferrari with a 122.6. Iron Kid is abandoning his lap. Brian is still going, but he's a little bit slower than his time. Will he have improved enough in the second sector? He is now improving, so let's stick with him, see where he puts himself. A 10th up will get him Zonneveld. Well, that's it as he invalidates. And LCC goes very wide there as well. That will have definitely cost him time as it didn't invalidate the lap. That normally means you didn't gain, but you lost time on your lap. Bit of a wobble there on the exit, almost makes himself into a Latifi. Through the last corner, leaves margin on the exit, and Game says he improves by 3 tenths, but he stays in 16th. Lange goes in, everybody in the pit now, or on an in-lap, except for ERL Alpha, who decides to go slightly out of sync with everybody else and start his last run earlier than everybody else. And Iron Kids, no excuses not liking Abu Dhabi. You're third in the Drivers' Championship. You've got your Constructors Championship with McLaren. That can't be taken away anymore. That's decided. So take this one on the chin, make it the best you can, and give us a heck of a race. And let's see what ERL Alpha is doing with his lap as he starts it now. Decent first corner, bit of margin there, a little bit of a wobble through the two turn 2 to turn 3, and he improves slightly on his first sector. Now let's see what he does in the second sector. A little bit of a distant toe, possibly he doesn't really take it up from his teammate, who lets him by nicely without any issues at all. Very hooked through the chicane, it leaves a bit of room. DRS wide open, and let's see how he is looking in his second sector. And he's lost a little bit of time there, 10.5 down from what he had before. So that doesn't look to be an improvement, but let's see if he can fight something miraculously in the third sector. Car seems a bit snappy. I'm not sure if that's the connection or just the car itself. If it is the car itself, it could be costing him a little bit of time there. Oh, and he almost loses it on the exit. He still improves by 2/10, putting himself in second place. Almost rode the car off there on the start-finish line. What a way to improve the lap. And we have seen Iron Kid retiring. I didn't see if that was in the pit lane or if he crashed out somewhere. And Neil on his lap now, and let's see what he does for the second sector, which basically is just a hairpin, a long straight, a chicane, and another long straight. That chicane he's coming in now is very important though for the lap, as you can very much ruin your lap there. Leaves a bit of room on the exit. Might have been a little bit more time to gain there. Let's see what he does. And he seems to have backed out of his lap. He has. So he's not gonna improve. Who else do we have? Dan is taking the flag at 4th. Stewart for now in 1st. Vigo is improving with a 10.5. He could snatch ball away from Stewart here. So let's stick with him, see what he does in the Red Bull. 10.5 up on his time. Definitely fighting here for that pole position. Let's see if he can keep it clean throughout the last part of the lap. Takes a bit much curb. I don't know if that unsettles the car, loses a bit of traction, but nicely through the corners, uses all the room there is. Opens the corner nicely, very much on the limit of track limits. Through the last corner, again takes all the margin there is, and a 1:22.4 for provisional pole at the moment. Bundy has abandoned the lap. Limit Danny is going, he's in 10th at the moment, improving by 10.5. Won't be enough for pole, but let's see what he can do. And he puts himself into 8th place for now. And what can Piano Jam do? He's not improving, still finishes the lap. But I don't think. No, he's just gonna take the air time and stays in P12. So that concludes qualifying for today. I've just been told by Iron Kid he just retired in the pit. He had enough of it. So once the screen comes on, I'll take you through the starting order of today, which will be Vigo for pole in the Red Bull, Stewart in second place in his Ferrari Alfa. In the Alfa Romeo in third place. Then Alpine in fourth with his teammate right behind him in fifth. Neil in the other Alfa Romeo in sixth. He will have to fight his way through both those Alpines to see what he can do, fight for this championship. Bundy P7, Limited Dani P8, Apeldoorn P9, Perez in 10th, Cavolis in 11th, Piano Jam 12th, Zonneveld 13th, Iron Kid in 14th, Brian in 15th, Lange in 16th, LLCC 17th, Gotsos and Spray and Pray in 18th and 19th, finishing the grid with their quali bands. And Iron Kid is saying that he is happy if he will finish in the points. Exotic Alpha, I assume you will be IFRL Alpha, making a couple mistakes in that lap. Sure, you otherwise could have possibly been fighting for that pole position. Quite keen to see what both those laps were and how close it really was. As the drivers are now picking their strategy, picking the tire choices, maybe do some small setup changes. Small setup changes are still allowed on the Parc Fermé, and obviously choosing how much fuel they are going to take. Gives me a little bit of time to have a sip, because that was a lot of talking. So once we get on the way, we won't have a formation lap if I'm not mistaken. So as soon as we go to the grid, we are straight away waiting for the lights to come on and go out again. And there we go. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're off. And let's see who has the better start here. Vego does seem to have the upper hand. Stewart sticking it up the inside, but doesn't quite get the move done. Sticking with Vigo though, putting all the pressure on him straight away from the get-go. Danny behind and in third place with IFRL Alpha sticking close in fourth place, already being in between the Alphas, the Alpines, doing the best he can for his teammate to fight for the Drivers' Championship. A little bit of an accident in the background, and who is that? We've got Zonneveld. He spun out at the exit of Hairpin. Couldn't quite see what happened, but I saw him spinning around. Got a Ferrari going wide, and that is it's not LLCC. It was LLCC. Seems to have his wing intact. A lot of movements in the first lap. Cavolis there and Apeldoorn fighting it out. Apeldoorn taking the position there, I believe. Iron Kid up in 8th place at the moment with Storm in a Alpine right behind him. So that Alpine has dropped back quite considerably, obviously helping Neil, who's still in 7th place at the moment. And we've got a Red Bull going slightly offline there. Is he trying a move or is he defending? Let's go with Piano Jam to see what he's doing with that alternative line there. Haas going wide, and that is Brian, who is all over the back of him. But he has lost some positions there, and we've got somebody spinning back. Was that Lange? It was Limited Dani in the Haas. And there is a McLaren of Iron Kid who spun as well. Now back in 17, so he did predict he was going to struggle for points, and he's making that true very early. He's going to have a recovery drive on his hands as Zonneveld has entered the pit, now going through this difficult tunnel section to get out of the pit. A little bit of wheel spin, that will warm the tires up quite nicely. I assume he will have had wing damage from his lap 1 incident. As the first lap chaos has come down a little bit, let's see. what strategy everybody has picked, and Zonneveld now on the mediums as well as the majority of the grid. Three hard runners, that's Kostos, Perez and Spray and Pray, and LCC going very attacking mode here with his soft tires. That's either because he expects there's his safety car coming up soon, or he just thinks he can make still work with a one-stop strategy. Penalty, we've got a 5 second for Zonneveld. I believe that will be a entering the pit with too much speed. Position changes then for the first few laps. We've got biggest loser so far looks to be Limited Danny with 8 positions lost, and the biggest gains is from Kotsos and Spray and Pay, both gained 7 positions all the way to the back of the grid, now in 11 and 12 already on the back of those last point scoring guys. And Neil is in a fight with Apeldoorn, which he very much cannot use if he wants to win the title today. As he's staying all over the back of Apeldoorn, trying to stay within the DRS to see if he can fight back on the next 2 long straights. So we got a yellow flag, and that's a Haas. Is that Zonneveld? No, it's Limited Dani who's gone wide. Seems to have all his parts still attached, and he's back on the road again. So let's go back to Apeldoorn versus Neil. Neil losing a bit of time there, out of DRS now, and under the threat of a storm. Now we do know that Neil is nicknamed the Wall of Champion, and let's see if he can defend like that as well on this big long DRS straight, where Storm will have the upper hand with the DRS, and let's see how good of a defense Neil can put up. Storm picks the insides early, and that will be moved on before we even get to the chicane. So nothing much defending Neil could be doing there. Storm's got his ERS light blinking already though, and Neil doesn't, so that means Neil will have a chance to fight back here, and he has the DRS as well and fights his way through. A little bit of wheel banging, and the outside is, I think, Cavolis taking a shot as well, 3 wide through the corner here. And they're both sticking it out. A little bit of more wheel contact between Neil and Storm there, but Neil gets the position. Very nice battle going on there. Now very much a 4-way battle with, or 5 cars in a row from Neil backwards, all looking to get that 7th place ultimately. And this fight could become very spicy throughout, and I can't wait to see how this turns out. Obviously hoping for Neil to go forward, making it very exciting for this title fight. Dan at the moment doing his part. He's definitely having 10 points or more at the moment, and he's getting all over the back of Vigo for the lead, with Stewart right behind him in the Ferrari. All within DRS range, having a 3-way fight, which looks to be very much for the podium so far. And Dan is not going to be quite close enough to get the position this lap on Vigo, it looks. But neither does Stewart, so they stay in the positions they are as we are at the moment. Very cool shots here from the helicopter with the boats there as well, as they go past the hotel, down the bridge, and into the very important corner for the title ship a few years ago, and over the finish line for Vigo to take another lap led by him. Let's see what else is going on, because these guys now won't have too much of a fight possibly. Storms with Cavolis, this is all still going on very much behind Neil. gap starting to increase a little bit, cars spreading out, getting their pace, and it might be a case of managing your tires and going as long as you can. In this battle here, Spray, he's getting to the back of this train as well, and behind that is Perez knocking on the door as well. Slightly further away for now, but I'm sure if these guys are battling, Perez will be very much knocking on that door very, very soon. Behind there, gaps are a bit more split, as those guys all had unfortunate incidents. And we got a fight between Dandan and Viggo. Dandan not quite getting the move done, but it has closed Stewart into this battle again. And they're still going in the same order, as Viggo has a little bit of a wobble of the exit there. Will that hurt him going in through turn 1? Dandan doesn't quite seem to be closing the gap there, and we've got a spinner, and that is LLCC. Still seems to have his wing, and I wonder if those softs after 7 laps have already had its best time. Stewart leaving a little bit of a gap again, but let's see if Dandan is gonna take this move. Has the DRS open, takes the inside in the corner, goes a bit deep. Can't quite see where his opponent is, but he's got the move done. Will his opponent of Viggo now have the DRS for the second DRS straight? The answer is yes, and he fights back into the hairpin here, and he's defended that position quite well just by giving up the position so he could snatch the DRS back off of Dandan. And Stewart is laughing in third here. He's looking how this fight goes on. Those guys using up their tires. And as long as he can keep them cool, he might be the one taking the advantage here by not using his tires as much with fighting with the guys all the time. As Viggo again has a bit of a moment on the exit here. It's not enough to give Dandan a look into turn 1, but he's got to be careful he doesn't overdo it there and completely bins it. I'm not trying to commentate this curse him here, because I very much like to see a new driver win the race and putting his mark down for next season. But please be careful with the traction there on the exit, Viggo, if you are listening. I hate to see you crash there. And then he's getting close again. Thought that fight wasn't going to happen this lap around, but he is still very much there. Got position changes in the back, and somebody killed one of the styrofoam braking boards. If you're using those to brake, please be careful in sector 2, I believe that was, around the chicane part. Caval is over the back of Piano Jam, not quite close enough for a overtake. Storms goes to Spray and Pray. Those two have left the fight in front a little bit. But I believe Kotsos has overtaken Neil here. And Spray and Pray now gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And we got our first regular pit stop guy, I believe. Or is he missing a little bit of a win? Perez now gets 3 seconds as well for track limits. Let's see what's happening with Gavolis, and that is a front wing change, so it's not our regular pit stop yet. He goes through mediums again by the looks of it, so he will have another pit stop to do. And losing 2 positions, maybe a third one to Brian as well. Where's Brian on the track? That will be possibly quite close on exit. Now Cavolis keeps the position. And by the time Brian gets there, the photosys tires will be warm. Let's go back to the front for Dandan and Viggo, who are still fighting it out. And so far so good. Viggo keeps defending very nicely here. And likewise Dandan defends nicely with Stewart. Dandan obviously knows he doesn't have to take a risk here. All he's got to do is finish with more than 10 points and the championship is his, so he doesn't have to take any unnecessary risks. And in fact, fighting with somebody else than his championship rival, he's only going to be able to lose out if he takes too much of that risk. I'm sure that's in the back of his mind and why he's being so sensible. Stewart knows how the deal is as well. I believe he's a reserve in this tier, so he's not putting up too much of a fight against Dandan. I assume not wanting to take out the championship contender. You'd be gutted if you'd be the one taking the championship away from him. So very nice to see some sensible racing there. Let's see what Bundy is doing. He's close to Apeldoorn, but not close enough this time round. Kotsos though, he has gained on Bundy. He's now 3/10 away. Expecting an overtake from him anytime soon. Kotsos can be a very strong, fast driver. A little bit of a yellow flag there, but that's cleared again, so I assume it was just going off track for a little bit, but nothing major going on. Kotsos looks to have more ERS than the Mercedes, as the Mercedes of Bundy is having the ERS light blinking. As we see the Mercedes of Spray and Pray going a little bit wide, possibly in a fight there, but he keeps it together without any damage. And Kotsos is going to try it on in the first corner, puts it on the inside, squeezes Bundy a little bit on the outside, all within track limits I think, and that is the move done by Kotsos. Very nice fight there through the first couple of corners of the lap, and Neil is having to defend to Spray and Pray, who takes the inside into the hairpin, and Neil is dropping back another place to 9th position. Spray and Pray taking the DRS as well, so that was a very timely timed overtake, as the Mercedes of Bundy is looking to re-overtake Kotsos but doesn't quite get it. Neil looking for possibly a switchback through the chicane onto the DRS straight. Takes the DRS, and let's see if he can get Spray and Pray back, and he doesn't into turn 9, and I'm wondering if this is the time where the medium tires are starting to drop off and the hard tires are coming into play, which I believe Spray has been on from the beginning. If that's the case, it's becoming very much time for Neil to start his pit stop sequence. He doesn't quite this lap. It might be a little bit too early for him, he thinks. Would be 17 laps. If he manages 12 on the mediums, I'm sure 17 laps will hold on the hards. But I don't quite know the strategy, I have to say, to be honest. Let's go back to the front. Caps starting to increase a little bit. Drivers just finding the pace, being sensible, and sticking together nicely. It's nice to have the first three in this shot together. And let's take all the data away for a little bit and just enjoy this fight here. Well, we're getting possibly the worst angle we can get, and this is much better. This is what we like to see. As Alpha gets a 3-second time penalty, and he retired, and that will give us a safety car, I think. Yes, we have a safety car. That will form beautifully for Neil, who's dropping back a little bit, obviously taking 8th place back with Alpha crashing out. Alpha, I know you're on the stream. Could you please explain to us what happened there? I didn't quite see it. Very ashamed to see you crash there. But this could spice up this race, as it might be too soon to go onto the mediums for the end of the race. But it's very much into play, I'd say, to go onto the hard tires. As the first 6 drivers all prove that, first 8 now, they're all going onto the hard tires, I assume, all into the pits. Let's see. We have hard tires pitting as well. Perez is pitting. Yeah, Kotzos and Spray, they were on the hard tires as well before, I believe. They've gone to the mediums, thinking they can make it to the end. I guess by the end, their tires will be screaming to be replaced. So they either need another safety car, or just gonna have to accept that they're gonna lose a few positions there. Where did Neil end up in all this? 7. So I think he gained another position on the pit stops. Maybe a bit of double stacking gone wrong. And Alpha, if you can let me know how what the reason was for your crash. I'm very curious, just for entertainment point of view, as we missed it on the stream here. LCC gaining some time penalty for track limits during the safety car. I'm always so annoyed with myself when that happens. It's a totally unnecessary track limit as you're not doing full speed, and it then gives you a time penalty. And Alpha apparently just completely lost it by going too early on the throttle. And yeah, I totally feel you for that on Abu Dhabi. It's definitely not one of my favorite tracks. I always struggle with it as well. And that was in the hairpin exit of sector 2. So I believe that's corner number 9, which is slightly off camber. If you go onto the curb, it can very much wreck your race. So let's go back to position changes, if I can find it here, while we wait for the safety car to come back in. Few cars still quite a while behind, so let's see if it is this lap the safety car comes in, but might be another lap. Anyhow, Kotso, Spray and Pray, they seem to be working together quite nicely there. Both gained 13 positions, just chasing each other up the grid. In 5th and 6th now, and biggest loser for now, positions lost, is Limited Danny with 7 places lost. Other exciting stuff, Alpadorn gained 5 places, close to the podium now. Let's see if he can reattach himself on this restart to the top 3 runners and maybe fight for the podium. I hope that's just weaving to warm up the tires and that's not you shaking no, Apeldoorn, as I believe you do normally listen into the stream. Storm lost a few places there, 9 positions lost. I wonder if that's a little bit out of sync. Pit stopping, no, everybody is in sync apart from the last 3 runners. And they've just done it prior to the safety car and decided to stick it out, or have just reused their old hard tires that they've used prior to the safety car coming out in one of the early laps. So no safety car coming in just yet, so we have to wait another lap as the last car of Zonneveld attaches himself to the back of the grid. and I now very much expect the safety car to come in this time round. And as that happens, it will be Viggo who's going to dictate the pace. First going to slow down a little bit, back up the pack, most likely. Give the safety car some room, and then it's all to him to time his restart. Tricky section to do a restart, as you got these very sharp 90 degrees turns where it's very easy to launch yourself into the wall from low speed if you go on the throttle at exactly the wrong point. But for Viggo, he can use that to his advantage if he times his safety car restart right, where he's in a better traction position than those behind him. It's just waiting for that message to come now. Was that somebody else getting a penalty? No, I don't think so. And that was then the safety car coming in, this lap message that I just had to miss, of course. So Viggo now dictating the pace, everybody's still weaving a little bit, and when will Viggo step on the gas to launch the grid back into racing again? Still got quite a bit to go for the safety car to come into the pits, and if you time it wrong, it will end in disaster for everybody. But he's still waiting, giving the safety car all the space he needs. Again, let's get rid of this for now, just to get all the cars in the field. Leaving it late. Is he going? He's gone. And the race is on the way again. And straight away Storms get a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Everybody seems to be coming through the last corner nicely. And Viggo pulling a gap straight away from Dandan with a very good safety car restart. Or was Dandan sleeping a little bit, as Stewart is right all over the back of him as well. And this will play into the advantage of Neil if Neil can stay close to the front runners here. Maybe can try to go back and hope for Dandan to just drop back for his title fight. Viggo doing a mighty job, already got a 1.2 gap on Dandan, who's now got Stewart at 3.5 tenths behind him, with Apeldoorn 4 tenths behind that, and Kostels 4 tenths behind that one. Spray and Pray knocking on the door as well, and then there's Neil. And everybody seems to be following each other in single file, no real overtake attempts just yet. Best part though, first lap after the safety car seems to be done without too much fuss, as Apeldoorn takes a 3-second time penalty, and that might cost him very dearly in that front fight. As Viggo now puts down a new fastest lap of 1:25.555. Getting a 1.3 second gap on Dandan, having himself released away from the DRS for Dandan. Dandan, however, still has Stewart in his DRS, so next lap when the DRS becomes active, Dandan doesn't have that DRS himself to defend from Stewart. And will we then see Stewart taking the position away from Dandan? He's already trying it on now, having a little look, trying to find where he can make Dandan go out of the ideal line and take the position, but Dandan ain't biting so far. Both quite experienced drivers. I don't think they know each other from previous leagues and races very well, so they know each other's tricks. as ERS picks up another 3-second time penalty for track limits. Brian does exactly the same thing. Not going to hurt him as much as he's a little bit further down the back of the grid, but we have DRS enabled this lap now in lap 18 with 12 laps to go if you count this lap as well. And will we see somebody challenging Vigo, who's pulling a mighty gap in the front of the race? First, let's see if Stewart can get Dandan on his defenseless straight without the DRS. I think he might be a little bit too far back for the first DRS straight. Definitely bringing himself towards it and actually backing out of the move as well. That might be a tactical decision to get the DRS on this second straight, but he doesn't quite have the access on Dandan to get the move done. I think he'll be just too far back going into the hairpin. Dandan is defending the inside, it looks, and no, Stewart is not quite close enough to get the position. And we've got Iron Kid overtaking Piano Jam now, and that means Iron Kid is now up in the points. It's only 1 point, but it's a point nevertheless that he thought wasn't gonna happen. And Bundy and Storms not quite in attacking positions, but a beautiful shot by the helicopter here as we go over the start-finish straight. Very much a three-way fight as well going on here, as Storms is knocking on the back door of that Mercedes of Bundy. I wonder as well if that is named after Al Bundy. If it is, great nickname, buddy. Will Storms get him on the DRS? Bundy has the DRS as well to defend. No, he will not get him this time around. And Dandan has lost 2 places there. That happened completely out of my sight. Apologies for that. But Stewart and Kotsels have both overtaken him, and now Kotsels is looking for a move on Stewart, and he gets his done in the hairpin as well with a fastest second sector. So will he also take the fastest lap away here? Let's see what's going to happen, but he's doing a mighty job for McLaren here, who are already Constructors champions, but I'm sure they'd like to go out with a bang to make the celebration even bigger. And another moment there on the exit from Vigo, and Kotsels does take the fastest lap going into the 124s. And with that moment of Vigo, Kotsels now very much is back into DRS range. And he's on a charge, and I think he wants his win. And let's see if he's going to do it already on this DRS straight. He's very close behind. He backs out of the move for now, it seems. He knows there's another DRS straight to get the pass done. Bit of wheel spin it sounded like on the exit there, but the DRS is open. Takes the outside and gets it done before the braking zone, and that's a new race leader after 20 laps. It's Kotsels taking the lead over from Vigo. Dandan now back up in 3rd place as he's overtaken Stewart, and Neil still in 7th place. And Bundy takes a 3-second time penalty. Sorry man, I hope I didn't distract you there with my question about your nickname. And the safety car has definitely made it more interesting with now a new race leader, which I'm not sure would have happened without the safety cars. Kotsels was a bit further down. Spray and Pray still looking to come forward with Kotsos together as well, stick together, but he's got a few more overtakes to done to be second place. At the moment, Kotsos will be the one with the most positions gained. And Spray does get the move on Stewart here, and will he get the move on Denon as well? And he takes a bit much curb, keeping room for Neil there, or Denon, and Denon loses the position again to Stewart because of this move by Spray and Perry. Didn't quite get to see it because of the camera angles chosen by the TV directors here. Bit of a shame, but Spray and Pray done a beautiful move, and he's getting a bit of a moment there on the exit of the hairpin. Keeps it together, but I wonder if that will have cost him a track limit warning. Obviously got a 3-second penalty already, as well as we have a yellow flag in sector 3, and that is Lange, I think. Yes, and he's going again without any safety cars. And Greg Mahon, I don't know if you're in the server. If you do, let me know what your nickname is, but you are rooting on Dandan, and it's very much seems to be going in Dandan's way. Again, I hope I'm not commentating cursing Dandan here, but we have a safety car, a very last minute safety car, as LLCC decided it was time for a new front wing, as he didn't like the one anymore that he had. And this will spice things up, and I'm assuming a lot of people will go into the pit for fresh soft tires, with LLCC and Lange being in the best position, as they still can go into the pit, where the rest has to wait another lap under a VSC Delta time. This might start a whole series of events. Obviously we don't have a Michael Masi here, but it's very much a similar scenario. And how long will the safety car stay out for the race deciding last couple of laps here in Abu Dhabi? Will Neil be able to fight and get that championship away with a shocking move in the last couple of laps? And Vigo makes a dummy then and doesn't go into the pit. Kotsos responded and is taking the pit stop. And Spray and Pray gets a 3-second time penalty again for track limits. And quite a few drivers going into the pit for those soft tires. We got Kotsos, we got Stewart, we got Dandan. Who else have we got? Neil going on fresh mediums. Don't quite get that decision. Maybe he doesn't have fresh softs anymore. But he is now right behind Dandan. We're going to have the two title contenders fighting against each other on track for the last few laps. Dandan being on the faster tire and seem to have a bit more rhythm at the track tonight. I think he's in the better position to take the championship away tonight. But let's see, because those soft tires did drop off after not too many laps. And maybe Neil just finds that he's got a better grip and confidence in the medium tires. So the pack is almost bunched back up now, with Lange and LLC still having to catch up. A couple other drivers as well in front, but they are the main guys we are going to be waiting for. And maybe we can get the race on the way in lap at 24, but it might be we have to wait for lap 25. So the front runners, out of the top 6, we've got 5 who decided not to go in, all now on 11 lap old tires, and I think they're all going to be swallowed by the rest of the pack as soon as we got the safety car coming in and we're restarting this race. I think we're going to restart the race at the end of this lap, meaning we got 5 laps of racing, and I think that should be enough for quite a few guys taking over those guys on 11 old tires. And quite frankly, I'd be surprised if we see one of them on the podium, but maybe that's me being pessimistic here. Vigo did show good pace throughout, as did Spray and Pray. However, I think we got Kotsos in here for a provisional win with Stuart, Dan, and Neil, and possibly limited Dani following for the second and third places. Got the safety car in this lap. Drivers are going quite slow as Vigo is going very slow for the restart here. I'm not sure if it's fast enough to be allowed. Maybe we will see this back in the steward's room. But Vigo has restarted this race. And let's see how long those guys on the older tires can last. And we already have one going wide. That was Spray and Pray going wide on the exit of the last turn. Doesn't cost him too much at the moment, as the guy behind him is Apeldoorn on all the tires as well. We got Kotsos, I think, making a move already, or very much over the back of Bundy. A couple of time penalties there, and yes, Kotsos has got the move on Bundy with a fresh softs, and he is on a charge to get the win back to his side. Iron Kid moving up a place on Stewart, but Stewart taking it back again. Going side by side through the chicane, and I think Iron Kid possibly pushed Stewart a little bit wide there, but it is a difficult corner to go side by side. He kept the position that way. I'm not sure if the stewards are going to entertain that idea. Stewart now trying it around the outside and sticks the move, and that is a very good overtake by Stewart. On the fresher tires, of course. And what else have we got going on? The Kotsos and Vigo still fighting despite the older tires of Vigo. And we have somebody in the wall. Was that Kotsos in the wall? We have another safety car. Another safety car. He can come straight back out again. It will be too late to pick up the grid again. So we will have another lap. What happened there? Who spun what? I didn't quite see it. It happened in the background. Who's lost positions here? And honestly, there was something happening with Kotsos. I think he had a bit of a moment, possibly after contact with Vigo, defending very hard, obviously, on those older tires, because he had to. There might have been a little bit of a wheel bang unsettling Kotsos there. He doesn't seem to have wing damage, nobody DNF, so I don't quite know why we have such a late safety car. But this will very much be just 1 or 2 laps of racing remaining. It definitely helps those on the older tires. Neil has dropped a bit of back as well. He was right beside then, but lost a few positions, so he might have been tangled up in that as well. And I know it's the end of the season, guys, but there's no need to stretch this race out just because you're not finished with the season yet. You are allowed to just finish the race without causing another safety car. Let's have a look at penalties, and that will, with now a late safety car, very much change the order to which they're going to finish as well on the timing sheet. Spray and pray with a 3-second penalty, as is Bundy, Stewart and Iron Kid. They were going to drop back quite a bit because of that. And we've got overtakes behind the safety car. Is that spray and pray just dropping back? What's happening with him? Did he spin behind the safety car there? Was that a Ericsson hit us moment by spray and pray? Or did he maybe actually got hit? Oh, he got hit by Kotsos, I believe. So that will give Kotsos most likely a penalty, which I'm going to assume is going to be 5 seconds, so that will cost him as well. But yeah, Limited Danny and Storms all having penalties as well. Drive ship championship contenders though, still keeping it clean, as we have yet another safety car restart led by Viggo. Let's get back out of the penalties and rid of the details altogether. Very slow restart again by Viggo, and when will he launch it? Safety car is driving into the pit lane now, so we're good to go anytime now, and let's see where he does it. LLCC getting a 5 second for ignoring yellow flag, so that's an overtake under the safety car. As of course we haven't restarted yet, and you're not allowed to overtake until you've crossed the start finish line. Let's see when Viggo now takes the restart. Still weaving heavily. Going into the corner, still weaving, and when will he do it? And there he goes. No, he's not, and that will possibly cause a little bit of a chaos behind, but we're off now. We're definitely off, and I saw somebody going into the pit lane, I think in the background. Doesn't seem to be the case, but Kotsos was paying attention this time around. We had somebody going into the pit. It was Brian retiring in the pit lane there. Kotsos being all over the back of Viggo there with his fresher tires, taking the outside line into the hairpin. Better traction, better grip, takes it around the outside, and what a move that is by Kotsos for the lead. Wow, brilliantly done by him. Very sharp on the restart. And Viggo with the slipstream, possibly a lower aero. He's taking that position back from Kotsos. Absolutely didn't see that one coming. On his older hard tires as well. Brilliantly done for Viggo for believing that move was very much still on. And Stewart still all over the back of third place here. And we're almost going to have a 3 side-by-side battle here in the last 2 laps. Well, last lap and a half really by this point. And let's hope everybody keeps it clean, not being too eager, as we have seen a few races in a row now with the last lap safety cars. So far it seems to be alright. Kotsos took the position there in the last corner, and Stewart and Bundy taking positions as well. And I believe those guys... Now Stewart is a fresh soft runner, but Bundy on his 16-old lap hard tyres in third place now, overtaking Vigo. And let's see what position changes we're going to have here in this last lap in Abu Dhabi with all the time penalties as well. It's going to throw things around very much. Vigo theoretically still in second place, and he's now overtaking Bundy and Limited Dani there. Or Limited Dani is mixing up in the battle as well. And Spray has left the session. He's still no, he's retired in the pit lane. Stewart now in second place. Doesn't quite have the 3-second gap on Vigo, so he will drop back a little bit. Dani pushing up into fourth place now, which I think might be theoretical third at the moment. And let's go to Kotsos as he takes the win. A brilliant drive by him from the back row on 18th. And that is the race win for Kotsos. Vigo in second, Dandan in third, Stewart in fourth, Limited Dani in fifth, Storms in sixth, Piano Jam in seventh, Neil in eighth, Zonneveld in ninth, and Kit with the last point in 10th. And that means that Dandan is our World Drivership champion tonight here in Tier 3. Brilliant season driven by him. I believe, if I've got my facts straight, he and Neil both been fighting for championships before, not together, but both of them lost it in the last lap or the last race to become second in the championship standing. So either one of them was gonna have a championship this time round, and it's Dandan that takes the championship. Dandan, congratulations, finishing off with a podium as well. Mighty drive all season, and you are a world champion. Well done. So let's watch the podium ceremony here, as obviously celebration going on at the end of the season. McLaren finishing strong as well to secure even more that they are the best constructor this season round. And that is season 2 finished off for Tier 3. Kotsos take the last race win, Vigo in second, Dandan in third, Stewart in fourth, Limited Dani in fifth, Storms in sixth, Piano Jam in seventh, Neil in eighth, Zonneveld in ninth, Iron Kid in 10th, Apeldoorn 11, Lange 12th, Perez 13th, 14 is Bundy, 15 is LLCC, Cavo is 16th, Spray and Pray still classified but DNF'd in 17th, Brian 18th, also still classified, Alpha who DNF'd quite early in 19th to finish the grid. And that's it. That was our season finale of Tier 3. Very exciting race. Very much enjoyed it. Lots of action on track. And I hope we can see much more of this next season in Tier 3. If you like tonight, obviously like, subscribe, comment, do all those good things to keep updated. We've got another race tomorrow for Tier 2. That will not quite be the season finale, as they had a bit of a glitch with the race last week. They will also race next week. But tomorrow they've got Abu Dhabi for the penultimate race. And then the week after they will do Brazil for their final race of the season in Tier 2. They still got a 4-driver championship battle going on, I believe. So definitely one to watch tomorrow. So if you like today's race, tune back in tomorrow for more on-track action in ERL. But for now, it's time to say goodbye. And I wish you all a very good night. Thanks for watching.